Hello everyone, Manathrall here, and welcome to another boss battle guide. Today I'm going to be doing Commander Zilyana. Now keep in mind, you'll see a lot of disqualified from the Traitorous achievement during this battle. I believe it has something to do with the new titles and new achievements with this. I don't really know what they are yet, so I'm not overly worried about it. But Commander Zilyana, she's not overly bad to fight. She is a little bit harder than the other ones, especially harder than Krill. I'm sorry, I still find Krill to be the easiest. If I had to rank just the main four, not including Nex, because Nex is of course the hardest one to fight, I would have to rank them from easiest to hardest, being Krill, Kuriara, Zilyana, and then Grador. So she's up there with Grador mostly because she seems to have a very high damage output, all things considered. But again, this is one of those fights where magic is going to be your best friend. Try to use the Vampirism Aura. Vampirism Aura for boss fights is very good in general. Unless you're fighting a different boss where another aura might come in better suited for that. But as far as I'm concerned right now, for these bosses here, your main target is going to be the Vampirism Aura. And of course, for the rest of it, you want to have your best possible mage gear. If you do use protection prayers, try to get the Devoted perk, because it'll occasionally allow you to protect from 100% damage, rather than just the traditional, I think it's like 75%. So do try to keep that in mind. Do try to do that as much as possible. Do try to keep using Debilitate as much as you can on her, just to reduce the damage that does come your way. You can also use, abilities like Anticipation to help reduce your damage, damage afflicted to you as well. But if you're fighting her, I would say if you use it either when she first spawns or shortly before she spawns, that'd be the best time to do it. That's my opinion on that one, because you don't want to do it during the battle because it's going to slow down your damage dealing. Again, with her, as well as most of the others, you want to use a lot of AoE. This way you're hitting the others as well. That's why I would encourage this one again with the Amulet of Fury, or the Blood Amulet of Fury, because it'll really help you out healing. And of course, anything that can help you heal better is always good. So, keep your Enhanced Excalibur on you, because that'll also boost your defense as well as heal you. And if you have like certain quests completed, like as a first resort, if you have that quest done, it'll actually be helpful because it'll give you certain boosts that you may or may not need. Otherwise, it's like, as far as abilities go, try to use stuff like Concentrated Blast. I know it takes a little while to do, but it kind of helps boost your critical chance. So you kind of want to do that in... If you can get the Corrupted Blast, get that. If you can, of course you'll have Combust by this time. So as always, like, my main gear that I use for this is always Port's gear. And you can see it's not overly hard for me to fight her with just Port's gear and just a regular skill cape. So I mean, it's not an overly complicated battle. But if you are under-geared, you'll have a harder time. Do I think you guys could do it? Yes. I honestly think you guys can. It's just, whenever you do go to fight any boss, all of them have a practice mode now, from what I know of. So always take through a practice mode Bring your best stuff, the stuff you would normally bring. And if you find that that is not working, you want to look into what abilities you're using, what perks you're using from invention, and see if there's an adjustment you can actually make. Maybe bring better food, bring better armor, gear, better perks for the situations. You know, always try to think of that kind of stuff first. And if all that stuff is pretty sound, it's just you need better gear, then go for the gear last. I say that because it might actually be more beneficial to you to hold off trying for gear as much as you possibly can. Because unless you can make the superior sports gear, you might be spending a lot of money into it. And see, that's why I use the superior sports gear. Because it's not going to be very costly to you. It's going to be very efficient. And that's one thing that helps me make money in this game. Is not so much of, you know, how quickly something gets done or how easily. It's about how efficient it is. If it's efficient, it's going to change up everything. Because, yeah, there's going to be people who will kill Zilyana way faster than me. I already know this. I mean, that's a straight up fact. But the question is, are they as efficient as what I'm doing? Because I'm not relying on overloads to kill her. I'm not relying on the Araxasaur's, you know, the noxious staff. I'm not relying on the noxious staff. I'm not relying on, you know, 90 plus gear to fight her. So that's why I'm saying you always want to think about how efficient you can be rather than the top end of the gear. Because eventually top end gear is not going to be as big of a deal. Because as you guys have seen, well, maybe you've seen it, but there's going to be the mining smithing rework coming up. And with the mining smithing rework is going to be coming a whole bunch of melee gear. And this melee gear is going to be very beneficial to, well, anybody who does melee. And has at least a decent level for your, for your smithing. Because if you have a decent level smithing, you're going to be able to get this gear a lot easier. Especially if you're an Iron Man account. You'll be able to get it a lot easier if you already have the levels, of course. So this is just some stuff to try to keep in mind, if you ask me. Can anybody fight this? Yes. And the thing of it is, like, any of these bosses in here, anybody can fight these primary bosses. It's just a point of practice. Now, when it comes to the more complicated bosses like Nex, that's a different story. That, not everybody's going to get to fight. I mean, I'll admit it, I have a hard time fighting Nex. But I had a hard time fighting Zilyana a long time ago. So, it's all about how well you can perform. And I will say this for people who do watch channels, who do watch like the boss battle videos, and who might not always understand the point of doing something like an Iron Man account or hardcore Iron Man account, especially the hardcore. Me personally, is when it comes to the hardcore Iron Man accounts, it's because it really forces you to do the best you can possibly do in the game. You're not going to be going into this half-heartedly if you know your character is going to die. So you're always planning ahead as to what you can and can't do. You're not sitting here like, oh, okay, I might win, I might die, who cares, you know? No, if you're doing a hardcore Iron Man, you're constantly thinking, well, what if I die? What's going to happen if I die? You know, you're always thinking about that kind of stuff. So if you're always thinking about that your character's going to die and you have to think of the best way to do it, that's what's actually really interesting about the Iron Man, well, hardcore Iron Man aspect, is it kind of forces you to do the best you can do. And if you can do the best you can do when you go to play a regular account like this one, your skills are more refined. And if you get into that mindset, normally, whether you're playing your main account or hardcore account, then it's, you know, you have that mindset already. You're like, oh great, I don't want my character to die. But granted, like me, you know, it's like if my character dies, it's only like 400k, so it's just like, well, who really cares? But you really don't want your character to die. Yeah, that's 400k you could be using on something else. That's just how I see that kind of stuff, personally. But that'll actually be it. 'Cause I wanted to do a few battles, but I also want to talk to you guys about, you know, different strategies. I like doing that, and reasons behind some strategies. But if you follow, you know, simple stuff with Zilyana, you'll be alright. If you ever want some pointers, like, and if you want to see me use different types of gear, maybe lower level gear, I will gladly do that. I will gladly go get some air heaves. I could even do a Brother Bars video in my conquest to get full air heaves, because I wholeheartedly do not believe in buying your gear. I did have to buy the Luck of the Dwarves, but that's because I'm kind of far away from being able to make that ring. But that'll do it for this video. I hope you guys got to learn something. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, later guys.